What's up, everybody? Achilles here with some more Doom Eternal. Real quick, just letting you know, this video is going to be a strictly lore and story type video. It's going to be a video consistently of me just reading any documents that I have acquired since the beginning of the game, because I didn't really do much of the reading since then. The last video I posted was a very short area and it had a lot of, new lore to it, so I decided to read everything all together. But it took a lot longer than I expected it to be. So instead of boring you guys through that whole video, I decided to make a whole video specifically just for that, so the other one would still have its normal, chaotic fun to it. Now, if you guys choose to if you guys are interested in the lore and the story of the game itself, by all means, please continue watching the video. You'll be able to see a good amount of content there. But if you guys just want to focus more on the chaos and everything else, all the action, the everything, the rage, then just go ahead and skip this video on to the very next video where it goes back, continuing into the main campaign. I'm gonna actually read these stories because I've been getting them and I read like the first three and then I stopped reading them. So yeah, I'm gonna read what I have here. Excuse me, I'm already getting bored from my own talking. Okay, I'm gonna start right here. Nearly 60% of the planet has been consumed by the demons, with the rate of expansion increasing each day. The majority of the world population died in the first month of the Hell invasion, following the catastrophic failure of virtually every man-made system. Military response was immediate but only marginally effective at providing safe retreat to civilians, with many fortified locations cut off from outside communication. Facing overwhelming opposition, these makeshift fortresses have gradually fallen to the growing demon presence one after the other. Large portions of the Earth's surface have become uninhabitable, with swarms of demons scouting the globe and most regions suffering from an atmosphere that has become infected and poisonous by processes of some form of alien terraformation. Although several 100,000 more were safely evacuated out of orbit in the mass exodus following the invasion, the expected odds of survival is considered unlikely for many of these lifeboats carrying cryogenically frozen passengers. Religious iconography and communes are now commonplace amongst survivors, with collective perception of events taking on biblical nature. Many seek authority from a higher power to rationalize the sudden destruction of their world, believing these events represent a form of divine punishment. Following the total collapse of international civilization, nations and boundaries as we know them have ceased to exist. A handful of remaining bureaucrats, government officials, and military leaders have managed to survive by use of protective bunkers kept secret to the greater population. Covenanting under the flag of the Allied Nations, this governing body represents all that remains of the rule of law, forming what would essentially become a single world government. Military bases and communication with the AN have made efforts to regroup and centralize their areas of command, establishing fortified safe havens for survivors, stockpiling food, and scavenging for supplies. The only proprietary military use communications remain functional, enabling military entities under the command of the Allied nations to coordinate in humanitarian aid and defense operations. By 2150, the formation of the Ark has taken highest priority and is considered to be, in all practical terms, the last hope for humanity. Led by the elusive hell priest Deir Ranak, the cultists operate from a remote facility located in the Arctic tundra. As overseer, Ranak exerts absolute control over the facility and its legion of possessed acolytes. Instrumental in sowing the seeds of the cultist uprising, Ranak worked briefly with Olivia Pierce at the Mars facility before departing to Earth with orders to prepare the groundwork for the imminent Hell invasion. I remember Olivia, she was in the first game. Oh, whoops, I wasn't done. A recently declassified USC biography for Ranak indicates that he is a surviving member of the original Order of the Daig, the ancient Argenta clerics. He now serves the forces of Hell and is rumored to have personal knowledge of the Doomslayer, suggesting a shared history between the two. Oh, I don't know about this. Wielding total power over the cultists under his supervision, he uses his growing influence to advance the consumption and corruption of Earth. Built over the ruins of an ancient Argenta settlement, the cultist facility has been designed as both a Gothic monument to the ancient architecture and a state-of-the-art science facility. Tablets and memory banks found at the settlement indicate that the Order of the Daig discovered Earth millennia ago, and found it to be populated with powerful primeval beasts. They named these creatures Agadons due to their similarity to the mythic Cyclopean giants from Argent-Dunur's past, the Argadian. Argent-Dunur. That sounds so familiar. That's definitely from the first game. I don't remember the exact connection to it. The UAC's Polar Cultist facility is built around the ruins of an ancient Argenta settlement constructed over 60 million years ago during Argent-Dunur's extraterrestrial expansion. Frozen carcasses of the Agadon hunters have been located in the glacial waste surrounding the complex, and though their DNA structure reveals them to be indigenous to Earth, there is no fossilized record of these creatures beyond the frozen territories of the Argenta settlement. Carbon dating of the remarkably well-preserved beasts suggests they are nearly 80 million years old, predating all other known forms of complex Earth-based life. Continuing the cyber-demonic experimentation that began on Mars, the cultists study the Agadon's potential for resurrection and cyber augmentation. It's a Doom Hunter. Oh, got it. A similar program occurred at this location millennia ago when Day priests, often cited as Hell priests, bred the creatures and genetically modified them to function as Doom Hunters. Yeah, like I said, it's the Doom, yeah. Fearsome mutants designed to battle the Doomslayer and his Night Sentinels during the Unholy Crusades on Argent-Dunur. Sentinel records corroborate this through their military texts, with many reports of these creatures among the ranks of the demonic forces assaulting the armies of the North during the Argenta Civil War. Once the UAC cultist movement publicly announced its intentions for Earth, the cyber-demonic program was revealed to be focused on updating the Doom Hunter schematics, upgrading their combat prowess. A new assembly center was constructed near the cultist facility, and a powerful grav tram allowed UAC workers to safely transport the biological and mechanical components needed for the process. The resurrection of an Agadon hunter requires cutting-edge technology be used in conjunction with occult rituals conducted by the UAC's necrosurgeons and unholy fusion of science and sorcery. Okay. Oh, I remember this. The Hellgrowth formations on Earth have undergone great scrutiny by experts at the Allied nations. These cancer-like growths exhibit alarming cellular reproduction rates, outpacing any biological life form previously known. Their structural pattern is chaotic, almost random, with only one identifiable constant: the emergence of totem-like nests, which at full maturity resonate with powerful electromagnetic frequencies capable of producing a form of inverse quantum fields. These fields, once activated, result in the fabrication of hell portals, tears in space-time, which serve as gateways between dimensions. The growth exhibits certain predetermined qualities. In the consumption of our ecosystem, it creates environmental conditions more conducive for its own continued formation. In effect, employing an organic method of terraformation, the resulting environment is hostile to terrestrial life, producing atmospheric toxins and a multitude of environmental hazards. Although it is understood that the growth accelerates the arrival of demon life on Earth, it is not clear how the growths themselves originated, or whether there was some sort of catalyst that created the conditions necessary for their existence. It is believed that if the source of the growths can be identified, there may be a means of uprooting the entire formation. That's pretty smart, actually. Oh, I dropped the bottle. Operation Lock AAR follows. Following reports of UAC cultists presence at the Lock reactor, that number that I'm not going to read, actually it's more letters than numbers. Either way, recon teams Info Gamma and Info Hector, Info Gamma and Info Hector attempted to gain entry to Lock and assess the situation. Their final transmission indicated a massive demonic presence entering the reactor facility through continuum gates. Help orders. An emergency global council meeting approved an immediate ARC response to the situation at the Lock reactor. The assembled coalition strike force included 4 U.S. battle mag divisions, the Con-Ur long-range naval artillery barrage fleet, 27 U.S. Nightbird Apaches, 3 NATO shock troop battalions, 2 Con-Ur rapid response level Levi tank divisions, Levi like the jeans, and 18,000 coalition special forces units. There's so much more. The initial bombardment of the LRNAB was met with immediate response from invasion forces. An estimated 8,000 DP-013G units, gargoyles, attacked the fleet, sinking 32 vessels and disabling a further 78% of the fleet. The remaining ships retreated to a position approximately 32 miles offshore, beyond the reach of the gargoyles, but also out of artillery range. With the fleet out of action, the battle mechs and Apaches initiated a danger close salvo against the reactor as shock troops and special forces attempted a rearward infiltration. Several platoons made it inside the reactor, where the demons had already established a super gore nest. Although gore nests have been reported at various invasion sites, this was the largest so far observed. The nest has been built around the reactor core itself. Several thousand IFF beacons are amassed at the nest location, suggesting that demons are using our fallen forces as part of their bioorganic continuum gate. At the time of writing, the Super Gore nest is considered to be around ground zero of the invading force, unless the continuum gate is destroyed. This analyst sees no way to stem the influx of aggressors. Recommended response: total nuclear annihilation. Jesus. Okay, Samuel Hayden. Ooh, that's a nice image. The destruction of Argent's wellspring on Mars meant chaos for planet Earth, following the loss of communication between Earth and Mars-based facilities. The collapse of the Argent's dependent energy grid consumed the planet in crisis. It was during this time the UAC director Dr. Samuel Hayden suddenly resurfaced on Earth before the AN Council, wielding that which might offer salvation to mankind, the Crucible. Oh, that's what that thing's called, I think. After recounting the events that had transpired on the Red Planet, Hayden agreed to cooperate with the AN, providing access to the various UAC facilities on Earth and, by extension, the full range of technologies at his disposal. Paramount among these was the Crucible, the last remaining source of Argent energy in existence. Oh, shit. Okay. Believing it possible to solve the energy crisis which now devastated the planet, Dr. Hayden sought to invent a method of Argent synthesis, a synthetic replication that could recreate the high-yield capability of Argent energy. With the destruction of the Argent energy across the solar system, all the remains of Argent existed now within the Crucible, the fabled Hell artifact which Dr. Hayden had acquired on Mars. Knowing full well the Crucible's hidden power, Samuel devised a method to utilize the artifact as a Argent conductor, a process that would in time produce the miracle of synthetic man-made Argent energy, restoring the production of Argent energy to Earth. Hayden became a mythical figure amongst Earth survivors, in no small part due to his abnormal physical condition. Yeah, obviously he's a fucking robot. Having returned to Earth when most sought a means to escape, bringing him the Crucible that would grant the people a second chance at survival. For the common person, he had become the stuff of legends. Okay. Oh, hello. What is that? The Ark. A global military crisis relief initiative established. Hold on. What? A global military crisis relief initiative established by the Allied Nations in 2151. The Armored Response Coalition is designed with the sole purpose to combat and contain the Hell invasion. To succeed where modern militaries are ineffective, utilizing cutting-edge Argent power technology. Hayden, overseeing all aspects of the ARC weapon and tech development, set about repurposing the UAC facilities on Earth, many of which were unaffected by the invasion due to their remote locations and high levels of automated security. These facilities operated by powerful AI and are already designed for weapon development and mass production, meaning they could be repurposed overnight. By 2151, the Ark began running operations from the Mobile Command Carrier, a seaborne command center designed for long-range strike operations, which would serve as ARCHQ. Their primary objective to locate the source of the Hell growth infestation, and in doing so, shutting down the emergence of Hell portals and closing the gate between dimensions. At the heart of the Armored Response Coalition is an aggressive research and development program in pursuit of new military technologies. As part of Dr. Hayden's commitment, UAC resources under his direction, including some of the most powerful AI ever created, have been deployed in service of weapon development designed to face the Hell threat head-on. Oh, that's a nice picture too. In 2150, following the loss of communication between Earth and Mars-based facilities, UAC Director Dr. Samuel Hayden suddenly resurfaced on Earth before the AN Council. The demonic invasion of Earth had already begun, and Dr. Hayden had arrived just in time to provide aid. He supplied the resistance armies with urgent technology and advanced armaments, taking helm of the newly founded ARC as lead director. Dr. Hayden's tactical and scientific acumen were invaluable to the war efforts, and he was soon given full command over all resistance efforts by the Global Council. The ARC engaged the demons with bleeding-edge tech, exosuit, and heavy-frame battle mechs, but found themselves fighting a losing battle. Operation Hellbreaker was Samuel's final plan, a powerful counterattack that ultimately ended in failure. His robotic torso retrieved by ARC soldiers, Samuel is now tended to and monitored by a skeleton crew of scientists. They had been given contingency orders to safeguard his body along with the crucible obtained on Mars. BFG 10,000. Either way, originally established as a mining and communication relay, the UAC outpost on Phobos began immediate expansion following the destruction of the Argent facility on Mars. The UAC Board of Directors, intent on retaining their monopoly of the Red Planet and its surrounding airspace, issued the construction of an expansive defense platform. Using technology derived from the BFG 9000, it's over 9,000! The design plan called for a massive particle cannon to be built on the orbiting moon. The BFG 10,000, the largest man-made weapon platform ever conceived, wields enough firepower to defend against even the most sophisticated of capital-grade FTL cruisers in existence, or against the eventual potentiality of a space-bound demonic threat. So basically, the BFG 10,000 is the Death Star from Star Wars. That's all you gotta say. I don't have this yet. There are reports coming out of the quarantine's halified zone near the San Andreas Chasm. Satellite imagery shows what ARC personnel believe to be the legendary Doomslayer. Oh, this is the broadcast. Oh, no, I've already heard all these. I don't need to hear those. And then I've heard the audio logs. Okay, so that went by quicker than I thought. You guys have already heard those, so I'm just boring you at that point. Oh, these are the areas? Oh, okay, I see, yes. What treachery comes from our darkest selves, driven by greed and want, for I have been deceived by the Daig. They come north with I, the priest, as allied to our cause against the Khan Maker and her unscrupulous methods. Oh, this is a guy with like, okay. Alright, where did he leave off? Okay. Their silvery tongues wavering, they laid a plan for us, and sowed the seed of desire for hasty triumph. They claimed knowledge of the Maker's source of power in the demon realm, a vast foundry of souls where the innocent are put to the fire for the essence. In the foundry's destruction, our victory is assured, they told us, and the fools that we were, that I am, believed their lies. On their word, we sent the Doomslayer and Night Sentinels to destroy the foundry, and the priest cast a gate for the egress. As the last veteran entered the demon's empire, our final hope of reclaiming our domination, the Daig closed the path and left them stranded. They were trapped, lost in the internal void by the actions of the traitors. How could I not see their intention? Am I blinded by the grief of the loss of Taras Nabad, of my people? We have fled again, with barely a legion of the Night Sentinels left to protect us. The Daig are gone, returned to their mistress. May the Wraths forgive my failure. Okay, so next up. Argenta legends speak of sentinel beasts, loyal creatures that lived as companions of the hardened warriors, often larger, swifter, and stronger than others of their kind. These animals shared instincts with their masters and aided them in battle. The Night Sentinels never shared publicly the origin of these creatures, for only they stood worthy of them. Yo, can I get one? I probably don't need one, but that'd be so cool. Like, yo, go fetch a bone from the fucking demon. Like, let's go. If the demons have bones, yes? I don't know. Either way. King Novik ruled over Sentinel Prime for many years as its warrior patriarch, ordained protector of the sovereign Sentinel worlds. The Sentinel people, defined by a legacy of war, deem only those of warrior caste befit to rule. And in times of battle, it is expected that the king lead from the battlefield rather than from the safety of his throne. As it is written Oh, wait, oh, whoops. Where the hell is it? As it is written in Sentinel law, a king unfit for battle is likewise unfit to rule. Ooh, ouch. For millennia, the Sentinel people have secured their civilization against the threat of invasion from beast and human alike, passing on the mantle of battle to each subsequent generation and refining the craft of war into an art of ultimate mastery. Even in times of peace, the Night Sentinels remain vigilant, developing new technologies of conquest, each the more capable of securing the dominion, across the sovereign worlds. The Betrayer. This guy looks badass. After years of prolonged war against the demonic threats invading the world, Argent Denur launched an offensive strike across dimensions, sending their greatest warriors into the heart of Tau itself. Despite their training and their preparedness, their honor was undone by deceit. Betrayal at the highest levels of command left Argent Denur's bravest warriors cut off and scattered in the hellscape. Oop, wrong button, wrong button. But of those last remaining Night Sentinels, only one remains in Hell by choice, Betrayer of the Argenta. It was Commander Valen who relinquished the keys to the Elemental Sepulchre in return for his son's resurrection. Oh shit. Haunted by demonic visions, the image of his son's tortured existence plagued him without relent, the whispers of demons pushing him toward madness. In a moment of weakness, he fell prey to the demon's trickery, sealing the fate of Argentenur and dooming the kingdom to which he swore a lifelong oath to protect. Valen chose exile in the hellscape for his sacrilege. Oh, so that's why he's still there. Interesting. My spaceship. The Fortress of Doom is a command station used by the Sentinels for military operations. ESR dating suggests that the structure was built during the reign of King Danak, and spectral analysis of the Sentinel energy signature used to power the various systems confirms this theory. While the rock and metal structure of the vessel is undoubtedly Argenta design, the castle subsystems, navigation, gravitational centrifuge, life support, are of Maker origin, suggesting a design collaboration between the two species. Propulsion is notably absent as it is not required. The fortress manipulates space through an unknown process involving Sentinel energy. However, there is no indication that any of the systems were designed for Maker use. The accessways, control panels, and living quarters have all been designed for Argenta dimensions, so it can be assumed that the massive structure was made exclusively for Argenta warfare. Likely as a flag station of the Night Sentinels military forces, we have records of the Night Sentinels visiting many inhabited planets in their local quadrant. The extent of their empire is still being researched, and this fortress is likely a remnant of what was once a much larger fleet. Amidst the long and enduring history of Sentinel civilization, there are moments in antiquity that have become buried in time, forgotten chapters that remain concealed to Sentinel historians, waiting to be unearthed. The fallen city of Hebeth is one such tale, all but forgotten to the tombs of legacies past. Once a prosperous port city, a proud gleaming marker of conquest for the distant tribe of Bethian clansmen of the outer worlds. Hebeth bridged the disparate Sentinel cities with the ingenious design of Slipgate invention, but it was not meant to last, and among those cities lost in the Crusades of Sentinel Pass was Hebeth, now little more than a smoldering ruin swallowed by the quaking surface of a once habitable Mars. Sentinel Prime. The ancient arena is a holy... Oh, that's where I am. Okay. The ancient arena is a holy place for the people of Argentenor. Constructed in the earliest days of their history, this Colosseum served as a proving ground for trial by combat. Historical records indicate that the Sorry, I'm boring myself. Historical records indicate that the Argenta did not jail their own kind. Rather, prisoners and criminals were granted the right to earn their chance at regaining honor through victory in the arena. Those who succeeded were given a place to fight in the front lines of the Sentinel army, to die in service to Argentenor. This traditional use of the arena has subsided since the assimilation with the Dark Realm. The corrupted priests now allow more violent exchanges, with armed captives pitted against demons for sport. The priests of the Order Day continue to hold undisputed power on Argentenor. Spilling the blood of the Argent Ascendant class will result in the transgressor's banishment. Asylum wait. Spilling the blood of the Argent Ascended class will result in the transgressor's banishment. So asylum amongst the Argenta will be denied to any who do not adhere to the rules of engagement. Oh, so he's protected, is basically what you're saying. In the days before man first spoke, an immense shard of rock and metal was cast unto the world from the heavens. Thunder and cataclysm shook the land as the skies were torn asunder. The cosmic spear cleft a hole through our mortal lands, pole to pole, from the cold wastes of the umbral plains to the fetid swamps of Ironfang. The womb of the world opened, and the elemental wraiths, the firstborn, spilled forth. They took to the skies, fierce in their emancipation. In their exultation they brought vitality to the land, and all that felt their breath were awakened from eternal slumber. Fierce breaths, fierce beasts, and an unforgiven biosphere rose in the passing of their shadow as the wraith call echoed across Argentinora. Fierce breaths, you fucking idiot. First came the ancestrals, feral creatures invigorated by the magic of the wraiths. They grew to enormous heights, mighty behemoths who waged war with each other for years untold. Their battles tore the land asunder and destroyed all creation caught in their wake. The wraith call continued to spread across the land, and soon the Argenta emerged from the steppes, our souls stirred into the form by the power of their breath. The Titans towered over the wild-blooded tribes, but found them uncowed. The secret of the sword was discovered, and in the darkness of sweltering mountain forges we beat steel until it was strong enough to pierce bone and sever flesh. Thus we became to be born of rock and fire, lowly in birth but risen by the strength of our will, by the blessedness of the first ones. We forged sword and shield and took the hammer to the ancestrals. We claimed the domination of creation by right of blood and magic, I'm assuming, and the time of man came to be. With the ancestral beasts driven back to their bleak valleys, we rose. We tilled the fertile land, husbanded beasts of burden, and built towering cities. In the hallowed palace on the obsidian throne, we crowned King Omra the Father, and first of the line that shall reign in perpetuity. We built the cathedral of reflection to worship the first ones, and formed the Order of the Daig, whose priests paid tribute to the wraiths and appeased their tempestuous hunger. Our sons and daughters chose the path of the sword, or the path of the alchemist, for each duty honors the gods. Though our ways were righteous, we were not without strife. Storms and great quakes cast our spires down. Barbaric tribes laid siege to our fields in search of the great gifts Mother Argenta had bestowed upon our world, and the song of the wraith call threatened to drive lesser men into madness. We were not lesser men. We defended that with which the first ones gifted to us, our land and right to the bounty held within. We beat back the barbarian hordes and hardened our resolve. We rose above the fire, our bodies and souls tempered, and an unbreakable will was shaped in the forge of battle. What emerged was the heart of our legion, the Order of the Night Sentinels. Oh, that shit is dope. Oops. In the time of grief, when King Etric took throne, a blessing came to the people of Argenta. White porcelain beings from a world above our own brought gifts to Denor. Observers to our great deeds, admirers of our convictions, they sought to make bonds with our swords and bring lasting order to our world. These were beings unlike any we had seen before. Sword and shield held no weight against them. Oh, the time of Spartans? For the ethereal flesh of these luminous beings seemed unbound by mortality, able to move through time and space. Never mind. They held sway over all dominions of the known and unknown dimensions. Through their ways we grew stronger. Our society bolstered by their infinite wisdom and all-knowing power, assuring our people's safety for all time. In this world and the next, where we sharpened the blade and mastered our magic, they bolstered the soul and spirit. Death would no longer be the end of our people. The ones we call the Makers, our new allies in this brutal world, have given us the security in death we fought so hard to achieve in life. We would find eternal peace, and our minds would rest easy with the knowledge that those we fought alongside in battle would join us in the lands before the mortal plane. The strength of our ways, the purity of our essence, would be Maker law. Grant us passage to the great city in the clouds. There, our women and children, warriors and kin alike, would welcome us. We adopted the holy doctrines of the Makers, gifted in exchange with the chance to earn eternal rest for our immortal sons in blessed Urdak. The covenants we held now and under the embrace of our new God fostered a peace we had never known, for they were unlike the first ones, whose presence offered no paradise from fear and the uncertainty of existence in a harsh and unforgiving world. The Maker's embrace was warm and guided us into an era of spiritual prosperity. With machine and enchantment of the Makers, the Argenta brought our newfound clarity to the disparate realms of the Empyrean Void. We took flight with the support of our gods, spreading the enlightened word of the Khan Maker. We discovered there was not one enemy, but many. Worlds and peoples unknown to the Argenta were unveiled, and we saw our own suffering reflected in their eyes. Our righteous army strode into battle under the banner of the Night Sentinels and fought for the freedom of all peoples from the grasp of those who would exploit and prey upon them. Though we battled on soil not our own, the blood we shed in foreign lands safeguarded Argentinura and the sons and daughters that defended it. Through the strange peoples we liberated, new licenses were formed, and our beliefs became their own. Our armies swelled. As the Argenta traversed the stars with gleaming war fleece, the Khan of the Makers approached King Roan on his throne. He sensed his god restless by her disquiet manner. The king and Khan spoke, and the god revealed she had foreseen a schism in the blood of the Argenta. A test would be required to identify its host among us. She spoke of a holy rite to be performed on the strongest of our warriors. Only those that proved worthy would be tested, for the impurity could reside in only the most resilient of our legion. The divinity machine, a great tribute to Maker Scholaris, would help us cleanse any impurities from our flock, ensuring our continued prosperity in this world and in the Maker realm that awaited in the afterlife. The malicious one, if not exhumed from our ranks, would jeopardize our safe passage to the heavenly realm of Urdak. The Dark One was not amongst them yet, nor would he be for many generations. Only the Mother God, through divination and Maker's sight, would determine when he stood before them. The Makers were truth, and only their unclouded eyes could find the one who was marked. The prophecy of the Unholy One was written, but through the ages the warning grew faint, until only the Khan Maker herself and the High Priest of the Order Daig still whispered of he that would one day come to threaten their way of light. You talking about me, bitch? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's me. Oh, shit. In the time of King Novik, as the Argenta secured peace and safety through dimensions across time and space, an outlander came to us. He was not of our world and spoke an ugly tongue. Guts. Gotta kill them. Rip out their guts. He was not of our world. Oh, wait, I said that already. Sentinel scouts had found the outlander bloodied, clawed, and near death, mumbling of impending doom and the forces of darkness. The scent of blood followed him, and the gore that stained his armor seemed not entirely his own. By gentle law, the stranger would be judged in the Colosseum, where he would be given the chance of all who strayed from the path to fight for his freedom. We knew not of this stranger. His mind seemed crippled with rage. He dressed in attire not suited for our lands and carried munitions of arcane origin. We watched as his will overcame his injuries, and in the blood arena he proved his worth. The outlander's technique was crude and brutal, but the determination in his charge echoed that of any true-born sentinel. His war cry echoed through the Colosseum, as did the sounds of his fury, and the guards cheered his banner. Rip and tear, they shouted as the beast pushed beyond mortal wounds and certain death. He would be gifted no rank, no title. The survivors in the arena were provided only one reward: the right to earn an honorable death while spreading the blessings of the Maker to those in need. The Outlander's determination was witnessed, his ravings documented, and through the word of the Order Daig, the Khan Maker had him brought before her. She set her minions to learning his tongue, for with his ugly words he spoke of lands unseen, creatures born of fire, and a dark place unknown to the Queen and her caste. Yet another opportunity to expand the gift of the Maker to those in need. On the eve of the Black Star, the Dark One came from a world beneath our own, not through ship nor ephemeral vessel, but through the fabric of dimensions. Out of swirling fiery gates came horned beasts from a timeless realm. First one, then many, crashing waves of evil swelled from the obsidian forests of the Argentine overlands. The Alurum clans from the eastern mountains fell first to the black hordes of devils, and the city of Telorum was slung under the weight of their charge. We sentinels rose to meet the best beasts with the breasts. Yes, the breasts. The beasts with spear in hand. The might of the holy fleet striking back at the demons, but the dark gates from whence they came gave birth still to even greater hordes. A line of blood was drawn from the fallen of both sides, and the unholy wars began as the time of darkness came upon us. Unlike enemies of the past, we could not contain the demons emerging from the dark realm. Their weaponry was not conjured from machine steel, but from the essence of their very being, a dark magic not known to us in our many conquests. Had we grown overconfident, our victory serving to dull our blade as we drank in the glory of our expanding empire? Lost, we knew not of how to prevail against this foe. The Maker God stood perplexed, and our engineers and priests scrambled to find the advantage in battle we so desperately needed. Unknown to the enemy, we were pushed to the brink of defeat, and our God stood with us as we all worked to find the answer. The Order of the Dig were the first to unlock the mystery of these foul creatures. The priests were able to capture several of the beasts and set about to identify the source of their power. It was then that the essence of the Dark Realm was discovered. Not wholly unlike our own, this power was the life essence that flowed through their twisted form and powered their attacks. It could be harnessed to power our own weapons, giving the Argenta the chance to combat the demons on even footing. The priests believed that with greater knowledge of the essence, we could discover its source and cut it off from the demons to strangle their armies from within, allowing us to regain the advantage we required for victory on the battlefield. The Conmaker gave blessings to our majesty and directed the priest to delve deeper into the mysteries of the Scarlet Elixir from the demonic realm, for she sought only to return balance to our universe. Proper assimilation was required, as hell stood beyond her influence. After great efforts, the priests discovered more than they had ever hoped for. They learned of the true nature of the demonic energy and how it could strengthen those skilled enough to harness its power. The energy coursing through the malformed bodies of our relentless enemy could be used to tend life or to enhance it. The power to heal, to mend, immortality, knowledge, and enlightened faculties beyond our understanding. With the demon's life force in the skilled hands of the sentinel priests and under the righteous gaze of the Conmaker, our people would not only rise to victory over the unholy horde that clawed at our walls, we would move to a higher plateau of existence, ushering in a new era of military science and industrial heating. No sentinel would grow sick, no maker would need to suffer the transfiguration that they so feared. All would be risen. None could ever oppose our peaceful ways and threaten our world again. True balance over hell and its legions over space and time, in this world and all others. We could dictate the orders. United with the makers, we would find peace eternal. The Conmaker demanded a tithe of the essence, and driven by her desire, the priests submitted themselves to her will. The Order of the Dig took counsel with the king, speaking only of the spoiled lands sure to be found through the cleft in creation. Speaking only of the spoiled lands sure to be found through the cleft of creation, and the opportunity to purge the new invaders from Argentinur. We took the war to the cursed lands, pressing to the gates of wizardry. We took the war to their cursed lands, pressing through the gates of wizardry. There was one amongst us who seemed to know the true nature of these foul demons. It was the Outlander, the stranger who had come to us from places unknown. He who had survived in the front lines far longer than any sentinel-born prisoner had before. His passion for battle against the vile horde was evident, his lust for the destruction matching our own. Though Argentinur remained a foreign land to him, his fever caught the attention of inquisitors of the Sentinel Guard, some whispering of a suspected allegiance he held in secret with the demons. Silencing the critics, King Novix deemed him worthy of selection. The signifiers brought a commission to our king, and it was decided that he be lifted from the common rabble. Though no arena-born prisoner had ever been granted the honor, the Knight Sentinels broke tradition and deemed the outlander worthy of training. A number of disciples grumbled and chafed at the barbarian presence in their ranks, but in the war with the demons, all opportunities for even the slightest advantage was to be considered. As they witnessed the stranger spar with their hall masters, they found in him an undying, unrelenting compatriot. This man was an outsider, friend to none, and yet rose each time he was thrown to the dirt of their circle. Battered and bruised, his brow stained with blood, he rose with grim determination for the chance to face his enemies in armed combat once again. Time passed as the stranger was instructed in the codified matrices of their order, the ancient lessons of battle and brotherhood taught to all sentinels. He could sense the opportunity before him. Soon, all of hell would feel his wrath once again. Satisfied that he would not be a detriment to their prowess, the Night Sentinels granted him his wish as they ventured through the Hell Gates with the stranger in tow. They knew no rest, fighting in unnatural elements, and training under the blood moon of night. The stranger suffered exhaustion, wounds, and sickness, but asked for no aid and was offered none. 3 times the Night Sentinels ventured into the gate and back, and upon every return the stranger strode more capable than before. His gait locked in step with the march of the sentinels, a disciplined and not controlled lust for demon blood ever present. The passing of years and innumerable battles with the devils indentured the stranger to Argenta's mightiest warriors, and no longer did they consent it to him as a new-blooded conscript, for to them he had become a brother in arms forged in war, an ally, and a weapon. Let's see this picture. Nice. As we warred with the beasts of the Argenta Society grew, under the watchful eye of the Makers and through the endless power of the Essence. While our generals were consumed by the unholy war, our culture was marked by the beautiful potion the enemy had provided us, the sweet elixir. It brought us immeasurable capacity and empowered us to reach further into dimensions once thought to be beyond our grasp. Under the direction of our maker gods and the engineering of our high priests, our weapons blazed and our war machines stormed. The throngs of the populace drank deeply from the well of energy unveiled by the priests, but we of the Night Sentinels took no part in their abundance. Some amongst us whispered the accusations and warnings against this manner of progress, but they were quelled, as it was not our role to dictate the future of our people, only to defend it. Oh shit, is that me? Hey, you already know. As the Black Star ascended to its zenith, King Novik sat restless on his throne as a howling darkness began to assemble just beyond the mountain rise to the east. The blights came upon us in droves, flooding forth from the hell gates with the merciless fury. They brought with them a monstrous titan, the Dreadnought, a beast to rival the stature and menace of even the mightiest Ascentral. The grotesque giant laid waste to all before him, crushing all in his path. This was a total demonic assault striking at the heart of Argenora as never before. How is it that the behemoth could pass through the demonic gate without warning? We would never know, though the Night Sentinels believed treason was at play. Caught off guard, the Sentinels scrabbled late in the defiance of the Titan and his horde, and with his coming the holy city of Taras Nabad prepared for judgment. With the onslaught of the demons massed in the sprawling shadow of the abhorrent fiend, the city shook to its foundation. None were spared, save those that fled north. The vile swarm ransacked our temples and palaces, burning our towers and feasting on the souls of our clergy. Yet the Night Sentinels rallied and held fast against the demons, though they were pushed back and caroused at the blood arena. As the dark of night descended, their swords remained potent, and shred the enemy multitude with abandon. Amidst the unyielding ranks of the Sentinel, when all other apprentices had fallen in battle, stood the Outlander. Rip and tear he roared, ferocious in battle. The remaining conscripts of the arena stood in awe as they witnessed the beast who had once raged within their very selves, now armored alongside the shoulders of his Sentinel brethren. He had risen where none others had before, a true-born Sentinel fighter, the very best amongst them. But though the swarm fell before their assault, the Titan remained invincible, for none could tame the behemoth alone. In the hours before dawn, as the night sentinels weathered the relentless assault, the Outlander held his ground at the foot of the great wall in the northern bend of the castle, seeing his unending vigor. Samor, Chancellor to the Mother God, hurried the Outlander away under veil of secrecy and for a reason unknown, submitted him to a rite untold. This was heresy, for Samor received no consent from the Khanmaker, nor did he receive her counsel. In the chapel of purity, the Outlander submitted himself to the divinity machine. There, Samor Maker, the Seraphim known to us only as the aid to the Mother God, blessed the Outlander with fierce speed and power to match his will. It was the method by which this transfusion took place that was most uncertain to us, for we were of the knowledge that the Maker device bestowed onto the Argenta so many generations ago was used by the priests only to find the impurity amongst us. How could it be that the device that was meant to call the Sentinel breed of its contaminants could then be used to purify the Outlander's body, and give rise to the one who would lead us into the battle henceforth? What rose from the holy coffin on that fateful day was not the impure abomination the Covenant warned us of. The hero within would come to be known only as the Great Slayer, the Time Walker, the warrior Khan, whose fire-sealed sword would blaze forth a path for the just and cut through the demonic horde with a vengeance that only a god king could summon. He rose unbroken by the ritual, his eyes burning with Maker magic. He took the crucible in his hand, and wraith fire leapt forth from the blade, as only it will when held by a true sentinel warrior king. Oh shit. In our darkest hour, the Slayer had been chosen, defying tradition, our most sacred laws, and the will of the Great Khan itself. A stranger to our lands had been blessed with celestial might. Nice. Oh, that's it? No, I want to read more. Maybe I'll find more. Okay, shit. Story of hell. Oh, fuck me. Atop mighty thralls, the Hell Priest oversaw the invasion of the mortal world. The thrall, slave titan of the underworld, carried the priest temples into the wake of battle, providing the priests with vigil of Hell's advance from a strategically impervious emplacement. From their temple perch, the priests would emanate a powerful psionic influence, imposing the greater coordination amongst the chaotic forces of Hell, and increasing their battle effectiveness. The thrall, possessing superior resilience, proved indestructible by conventional weapons, thwarting all attempts by arc defensive forces. Only by severing the priest's psychokinetic tether could the Titan be neutralized, an act that could only be accomplished by an infiltration of the temple itself. Powerful practitioners of arcane magic, the priests have warped their powers to suit their insidious purpose, harnessing the dark forces of hellish psychomancy to prepare Earth for their final blood ritual. By blood would the Hell Priest bound to the dark ritual which now consumed Earth, and so long as even one of them lives, the consumption of Earth would continue, allowing Hell unfettered rule of their mortal world. Only by destroying the priest can the blood ritual be stopped and the Earth saved. Dig Nilux. One of the three Hell Priests, Dig Nilux, is charged with ensuring that Hell's invasion of Earth succeeds. He prefers to operate on the planet's surface, working in his unholy barge carried on the back of a demonic titan. This provides him an elevated mobile position with which to oversee the campaign against humanity. Spiteful and cruel, Nilux frequently captures civilians alive so that their still living blood can be harvested for his occult rituals. The Dark Viceroy to the Chaos Throne, Ranak has long served as one of the Hell emissaries on Earth. Laying secrecy, Ranak has prepared the Hellgate, awaiting the omen of the sixth seal, that which signals the age of rapture, which will cleanse Earth as foretold by the Maker prophecies. The Rapture. Ranak worked closely with Olivia Pierce, that bitch, with Olivia Pierce during the development of the original Mars project, and since her death has taken total control of the USC. His promises of wealth, power, and everlasting life have corrupted the organization from within, absolving its employees of their mortal conscience, accelerating the sacrifice of Earth in exchange for the lure of Argent's energy and the promise of undying onion. I know it's union, but onion with Hell. Daig previously served the king of Argentinura as a sentinel priest, guiding the Argenta's spiritual growth as a hallowed figure. After the betrayer, he abandoned his home world, working on behalf of the Khanmaker and personally overseeing the transformation of viable planets. Ranak has constructed a veritable fortress in the polar caps to protect him during his dark work. Oof, this bitch. Once a race of beast-like hunters, the Doom Hunter creature was known to Sentinel warriors in ages past as lethal stalkers of the Metal Age. Extracted from the frozen depths of the polar tundra, the Doom Hunters belonged to an ancient race uncovered during occultist excavation in the remote Arctic. Preserved below the frozen ice for millions of years, the unearthed remains of this creature were deemed suitable for reconstruction, becoming the subject of cultist necro-regenerative bioexperimentation. Within the remote cultist citadel, a high-tech ritual altar which towers over the Golgothan ruins, the Doom Hunter was ceremoniously and systematically resurrected and rebuilt. While the majority of its components are now cybernetic, it retains a high degree of mental faculty, a sentient, brutal hunting instinct augmented with the armaments of a tank division. Oh, this bitch too. As civil war consumed Argentinur, the Night Sentinels guards were quartered by their faith, torn between serving the Khanmaker or revolting against that which they were sworn to protect. Those most delusioned forswore their oath to the Sentinel royalty, abandoning their pact of allegiance made to the throne. These hardened warriors joined the separatist group led by the exalted priest class, allying themselves with the Makers and their devout acolytes in an attempted coup against the Sentinel royal house. Those Sentinel warriors who fell in battle, having sided with the Makers, were ultimately denied finality in death. Resurrected by the divinity machine of Maker design, these fallen Sentinels were resurrected from the dead, transformed by Hell's power and recreated with a singular purpose to hunt the Slayer, now reborn as knights in Hell's army. Is there more to that? No, that's it, yeah. Deigrav remains the most powerful of the Hell Priests amongst the people of Argentinur, frequently visiting his ancient homeworlds to lord over the populace. Arrogant and pompous, Grav calls for bloodsport in the arena to entertain the fallen citizens of Sentinel Prime. Since the demonic invasion of Earth began, he has operated on the planet's surface along with his fellow Hell Priests to direct Hell's forces, but after the deaths of Daig Nilox and Daig Ranak, he has fled to the safety of the arena. It was Deigrav who facilitated the torment and eventual betrayal of Sentinel Commander Valen, taking the keys to the sepulchre of elements and opening the vaults of the sleeping wraiths. The ancient creatures were abducted, transported to Hell, and tortured to siphon away their power. He used the heart of Valen's son to animate the icon of sin. Wow. And a titan still spoken of in legend throughout Argentinur. Jesus. Okay, so now I'm connecting. I remember now Argentinur just a bit. I'm connecting from the first game that there was other like biblical totems, but for Hell and shit like that, and the Sentinels kind of. And it spoke a lot about Argentinur too, and its locations and its origin and all that stuff. And it does mention what was it, Commander Valen. I remember in the first one, the 2016 Doom, it shows it actually, where it shows Valen walking through Hell. I mean, the ghost of Valen and the Sentinels walking through Hell. I believe that was them, if I'm correct. And yeah, it shows that basically they were trapped. They got stuck there and they weren't able to return. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck is that? Am I about to fight that? Who is that? Oh no. In the years following the end of the Golden Age, competing factions of the Argentinur turned against one another. An insidious influence had beset itself upon the Sentinel people, corrupting its once held sacred traditions. The Colosseum, once a place of honorable combat where prisoners of the Argenta were tested for their rights to fight in the front lines of their army, has since become a place of bloodsport. In violation of Sentinel law, the priests have engaged a demon there, a merciless executioner used to enact judgment of their own decree. The gladiator wielding an accursed shield which entombs the tormented soul of his undying master remains undefeated in battle, infamous for the many lives it has claimed. G-Zums, okay. These are the enemies, which honestly I kind of read on them already, so I don't really need to read more of them. Yeah, I read about that. Slow to turn, okay, yeah. I don't need to read that shit. Fuck that, I'm done. And these are my weapons. But yeah, aside from all that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, comments as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.